Okay, guys. Patricia Holmes here. This is part 4 of chapter 8. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add a layer. So click Add Layer and name it Actions. So we're going to add some action script here. Click on frame 1 of this layer, then go Window and open up the action panel again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the wizard and we're going to put some commands into this menu, this interactive menu that we are building in chapter 8. So the first thing we want to do is we want to stop the movie from automatically playing. So click Stop on this timeline, click Next, and we want to do it with the command of this frame, this first frame. We're going to finish and add. So look at the small a here in the action script. That's perfect. The small a in frame 1 on the action layer is saying, hey, we added a command. And we told it to stop when we launched the movie. We don't want that movie to take off without us telling it to. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add some interactivity to this movie, and we are going to select the first frame of the action layer. Well, it already is selected. We're going to open up the action panel, make sure it's opened, and then we're going to place the cursor here in the last line right there, and we are going to click wizard again. So click this. And now what we're going to do is we are going to click on the go to frame label and stop. Remember, we added those labels. So we're just going to jump to these labels because each label has content that we put on the stage. And then click go to frame label and stop, this timeline. And then at this point, we're going to tell it the name of the label. Well, the first thing that we did is that we named it label 1. So type in label 1. Then we're going to click next after we type that in. And how do we want to get to label 1 is what this trigger question is. Well, we want a mouse click, right? Click mouse click. And then select the object that it's going to trigger. So we are going to trigger the first one, the gable loft valve. We're going to finish and add. And then we are going to come over here to the next line and we're going to do that again. Click in wizard. Click in label and stop, timeline, label 2. Next, mouse with a mouse click. Gary, finish and add. Now you could do this on your own, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this with you. Wizard, label stop, timeline, label 3. Remember, no spaces, all lowercase, because that's how we named it in the timeline. Next, on a mouse click. And then finally, let's do this last one together. Wizard, label stop, timeline, label 4. Next, mouse click, Pierre platters, finish. Okay, look at that. We just added a bunch of commands. So let's go ahead and save our work. Click Command Save. Let's test it. So come over here to the test movie top right icon. And here we go. So when we click this, it should take us to the gable loft. Now we have not added the main menu. So we're getting ready to do that now. Let's go ahead and okay. So let's add that main menu button. So we're going to call this the home button. So we're going to select the button layer. Remember the button layer we had down here selected. Make sure it's unlocked. Let's close out this action script panel. And we're going to drag a button called main menu from the library. So let's find that button. main menu. There you are, right in front of me. Drag it onto the stage. Excellent. And the property position should be 726 for the X and 60 for the Y. Excellent. Now we're going to name this. So right here, we want to name this main menu underscore button, BTN. Excellent. And we're going to add some code to this home button. So what we want to do is we want to select the first frame in the action layer. So now we're going to be consistent and we're going to put all of our action on this action layer. So select the first frame of the action layer, open the action panel, and we're going to place the cursor on the next line of code, which right here is going to be 60. And we're going to click the wizard. And we're going to scroll down to select, go to frame number and stop. So we're going to go to frame number. Oops, that's play. Frame number and stop. That's what we want. Frame number and stop. And then we're going to select the timeline here. And then we are going to replace the blue highlighted letters of the action window here with the frame number that you want. So what do we want? Instead of 50, we're going to put 0. We're going to put 0 for now. And you know, the question, of course, is why not 1? Why not frame 1? Because JavaScript begins counting at 0. It's a little bit outside the scope of this, but put 0 there for now. Then we're going to click next. And then step 2, we're going to ask the trigger. What trigger do we want? Well, we of course want the mouse click as a trigger. And then what we are going to do is we are going to find, of course, the main menu button right here. And we're going to finish and add this. And so let's see. Let's go ahead and test this. I want to make sure this works before we go any further. I'm going to click the test movie button. Okay, so let's click Gary and then hit the main menu. Good. Yay, it's all working. There's our sound. Excellent. Okay, so I think that right here we're going to stop and we're going to call it a chapter. There's a few more things we could do to this, but the learning outcomes for this chapter are complete. So I'd like for you to finish up the chapter just like we did and then submit your work for grading. Okay, guys, that concludes chapter 8. Thanks so much for listening.